All right, welcome back. I don't exactly know what this video will be titled, but I'm sure when you clicked on it, it was called something like why you should really be afraid of ticks. This is a video I never expected to make. And I am making this specifically for all the tough folks out there who think they don't have to be concerned about tick-borne illness on the trail. I'm making it for people like me. People who always thought that they were impervious to getting anything from a tick, people who thought they could just yank them off of their skin with their fingers, people who thought they would just squish them dead and toss them out, people who wouldn't wipe it with an alcohol swab when they did pull it out, people who just thought they would never be the person who was impacted by Lyme disease. Well, I know that I have left plenty of stupid comments on this channel, and I want to be clear that I'm saying I left the stupid comments. Comments like, well, I live in Connecticut. I live down the street from Lyme, home of Lyme disease. I'm just used to ticks. I pull them off me all the time. Well, last week, about a week and a half ago, I pulled the deer tick off of me. Never thought twice. It yanked it out with my fingers, squished it, threw it out. Day later, I spent 4 days backpacking in Vermont. It was some of the best 4 days of backpacking I've ever had. Off trail, the weather was unbelievable. It was so perfect. Came home that Friday and felt a little bit ugh. Next day, a little bit ugh. Next day, a little bit ick. That following Wednesday, I was flat out on my back, in and out of sleep all day long. I came inside. I was out on the deck. I came inside, and all of a sudden I realized I'm blinking. And I click and close my eyes, but I can still see. That makes sense? So like close your eyes, but imagine still seeing. So I go into the mirror and try to close my eyes, and all of a sudden I realize my left eye is not closing. My left side of my mouth is not smiling. And I knew exactly what it was. Bell's palsy. I had a relative who had had it, same exact symptoms. I go to the walk-in, they send me to the ER for some reason. I'm in the emergency room. Everybody along the way goes, yep, Bell's palsy, Bell's palsy, Bell's palsy. Doctor goes, well, we're going to send you your blood for a Lyme disease test because this can also cause it. Well, it came back positive for Lyme. So this is Lyme-induced palsy that I had that I want to show you right now. This is how I spent the last week of my life, and I will be spending at least probably another 2 months. I have lost control of the left side of my face. There's nothing I can move on the left side of my face. You ready? Watch this. On a video, it's good. If this was like, if we were in person, I would tell you to stare at me, but now you can stare at me without feeling weird about it. So I'm going to try to squish my entire face. Like I'm going to work as hard as I can to squish my face. You ready? All right. If I attempt to smile, only this side of my face is working. When it first happened, I chewed down on the inside of my mouth. It was like disgusting. I had like pieces of flesh hanging off in there because I was just like coming home from the dentist and everything was numb. And so everything that I ate, it was just chewing it and chewing it. So I was eating everything blended. I tried soup one day and I couldn't eat that, so I decided to blend the soup. Problem is, I have to eat everything on the right-hand side of my mouth. So imagine drinking out of a water bottle and you have to form a seal around it. I can't. So I have to hold my head sideways and drink like this so it all stays there. Even right now talking, this is really hard to actually talk. Because if I just said like words normally, like my first name is Paul. So if I just said that word normally, like I literally can't, because I can't seal this side of my mouth. So I have to push everything over to the right to say Paul. I can't even drink out of a straw. It's if I start chewing, stuff gets stuck over here, and I gotta like. I was literally eating something today for lunch, and I was pushing it in with my finger as it's falling out. So this is the result of not taking ticks seriously, and this is why you should. Why am I wearing an eye patch? I'm wearing an eye patch because I can't blink that eye. I'm going to attempt to blink my eyes. I can't do it. That's as blinking as I can get. So this eye is open It is open 24 hours a day. It is not closing, which means in any slight little breeze, it starts drying out and getting all irritated. If I'm in a car, when I first got this, before I got the eye patches, I couldn't have the window down. I couldn't have the AC on because any amount of breeze would dry it out because I can't blink. So I spend the entire day looking out of one eye. Last night, I literally sat and we watched a Formula One race, and I sat like this, and I manually blinked my eye through the entire race. So this is one of the things that could happen to you if you don't take ticks seriously on the trail. I could tell you now that my minimalist first aid kit has just added 2 things to it, and that is a tick remover and an alcohol swab. I've also since learned that if you squish it in your hands, it just puts the stuff on your fingers. And so you scratch your eyes, you touch your mouth or whatever, you can get infected that way. So this was not a scripted video. I didn't know where I was going to go with it, but if I could leave you with any of advice, do take ticks seriously, because living with this for the next, I can't even imagine, for the next 2 months. And that's hopefully for the next 2 months. Hopefully it clears up. All right. Now, if you happen to search and stumble upon this video because you have Lyme-induced palsy, at this point from now until the end of the video, I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I've done and I've found out that have made life easier for me. So if you're a hiker, that's all you need to hear. If you have it and you want to kind of learn some tips and tricks, that's what I'm going to go over right now. All right, so part 1 of the video over. Here comes part 2. All right, so let's say you have this, or you have a friend or family member who has this. This is what's worked for me. When I came away from the doctors, nobody recommended the eye patch. The eye patch is a game changer, absolute game changer. The first 3 days, I was trying to add eye drops. By the end of the day, my eye was just so irritable. And then at night, I literally tried to put a sock over my head. I tried to put a t-shirt over my head. So when you slap the eye patch on, that's like your moisture chamber. So you could sleep with it, you can drive with it, you can, work with it, and, you can have a fan on or whatever. And so the eye patch, absolute game changer. And so I recommend going and getting a box of those. Eye drops. There are 2 different types of eye drops. If you just go to a store and you find a nice little plastic bottle, those are the short-term eye drops. So those are the types of eye drops that you'd be adding every hour or whatever. They also have eye drops for sleeping, like for longer, I don't think they're called for sleeping specifically, but they're like longer lasting. It's like a gel. And those are the ones that I've been using. So I put on those longer lasting gel drops, and then I put the eye patch on top. And that has allowed me to actually keep it on without having to take it on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off and that sort of thing. For the food, if you are brand new to this, I highly recommend just going with the smoothies. Don't even battle trying to chew food. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. I'm going to get into what food you can chew in a minute that would make life easier, but just stop trying to chew food for the first few days. What I found, and I didn't even realize it was happening, is that my entire face has slowly shifted to only working the right side. So like right now, I'm pretty sure I'm talking somewhat clearly. It sounds somewhat clearly to me. And that took a little while to figure out. It wasn't very clear at first. And with the smoothie, don't try to drink it. Don't try to drink it. First sip you take will come squirting out of your mouth. Because normally when you take a drink and you close your lips, remember this side of your mouth is not sealed. So it'll come squirting right out. I've had so many things squirt out of my mouth. So I've made smoothies, and then I've done it with a spoon. So I've taken the spoon, put it onto the side of my mouth, and swallowed it. So very tiny sips and very tiny bites. And any type of food you can blend is perfect. So I made a soup, I blended it. Even if you did like rice and vegetables, and you just blended it and then put it in with a spoon. Slowly, what your mouth is figuring out is how to shove all the food over there. It was a very painful, oh my God, very painful first 3, 4, 5 days of just chewing on my mouth. But eventually your mouth kind of learns. The other thing that I then figured out is it's kind of like baby steps, going from the blended food. I then went to foods that had a single consistency. And here's what that means. Like eating a salad was a nightmare because you might have something hard and crunchy, you might have something soft, you have something leafy, and your mouth was always adjusting, and I was always chomping on myself. So I found that things that had the same consistency were the easiest to eat. I'm going to give you some silly examples. French fries, because they're the same consistency. I found that I could eat a soy dog, like a hot dog, a soy dog, because it was a nice soft consistency. Wasn't really like chewing it. I was just kind of like mushing it, and as long as it was mushed, it was eaten. I can now go up to like sandwiches. So like a piece of bread and like I sliced up a soy dog on it, because that's the best protein I can find right now that's mushy for me. And you kind of just shove it into the right hand side of your mouth and take a bite. It's a little sloppy. I don't think at this point I would ever want to eat in front of other people. But you do get to slowly eat more solid food. So don't rush it. Your body will learn how to do that. And I think that's it. If you do ever have this and you have any questions, especially if you're researching this, say like 6, 7, 8 months from now, and you're like, hey, how long did it take you? Feel free to leave a comment, and I'll be more than happy to go back and forth with you. But if you do end up with this, good luck. I'm in the middle of my journey here. I hope that everything heals on time, and if all goes well, in 2 months, shouldn't really be noticeable. And at the end of a year, everything should be somewhat back to normal if all goes according to plan. All right, if you did make it to the end of the video, be careful with those ticks, man. Don't freak out about them. Just check and take the proper precautions, unlike me. All right, thanks, guys.